YouTube, hello again. I've just got home. Well, I got home from work a couple of hours ago, and the YouTubes is alight with all sorts of wonderful auto-assembly stuff, and I feel I haven't been contributing enough to this particular community of late. I've been very busy with other things, doing other stuff, and I haven't had opportunity to get directly involved with the Transformers collecting or doing Transformers reviews or anything to that effect for a while, but I'm getting very excited now. It's nearly auto-assembly and stuff is kicking off. The community seems to be alight with it all, which is very exciting. Stuff is going on, people. I love that. This year I'm very excited because auto-assembly is kind of like a little holiday for me. I've done so much this year. I've got new work. I've moved. I've got my short story collection coming out. Work. Lots of stuff. So auto-assembly is a little oasis. It's like a little moment where I can just sit down, have a fair bit to drink, and play with bots and talk about bots and just relax a little bit. But this video is actually going to be a simultaneous response, firstly to the redoubtable Ray I Love Mess, for he's sort of started a little bit of a craze on YouTube of late. He's getting lots of responses for his Ray made me do it thingy. Ray has this very particular quality of being able to convince people to buy things. He has this capacity to enthuse other people with his enthusiasm, to infect them with his enthusiasm. I know this because very often when there's something on eBay that I like the look of, which is far too expensive, Ray will be on the other end of the phone or with text going, "Ah, go on, buy it, go on. Well, not quite like that, but you know the general picture. He will be there like the proverbial Mephistopheles on my shoulder, whispering temptation into my ear, going, "Yeah, that bot concept that costs £200 go on, buy it, you know you want it." And I do, and generally speaking, yes, I do end up buying it, unfortunately, at least for my bank balance anyway. But for me, plenty of joys. Oh yes. So I've just got a couple of items, because most of my Transformers collection is up here. I'm afraid I don't have the storage space for it yet. But I've started. Oh boy, have I started. I have bookshelves, I have stuff. It's getting there. Whew. But I've got a couple of items up here, which are very definitely Ray made me do it. The first is this guy, and oh god. I wasn't that bothered about the mould as such until I saw this version of it, and I saw it and got to handle it first actually at Ray's house, or Ray's flat rather, because this is something that he has as much enthusiasm for as I do. Now I handled this at Ray's for the first time, and I was gobsmacked. I was gobsmacked at. Look at the paint applications on those wings. Just look at them. Those wings have been airbrushed with something, and they are beautiful. I have never seen paint apps on a Transformer like that. This is a Universe Depth Charge, by the way. This is the Universe Recolor, and this actually is an Autobot. It's not a Maximal. It's an Autobot version of Depth Charge, and it's a stunner. It really is. It is beautiful. It's beautiful. It's at least equivalent in terms of quality to Rampage. In the normal paint of this guy, the original version, he's not quite up to the standard of Rampage, I don't think. The colours aren't quite as interesting, and he doesn't have quite as many qualities or features that are as compelling as Rampage. But this version, yeah, this version stands up very nicely. It's a beaut. I mean, even people who don't like Beast Wars, I know, pick this thing up and absolutely love it. Gerard, Wolfgang 1 being one. This thing is amazing. And if you're a Transformers fan and you don't have it, then do yourself a favour. You need to get this in hand. You need to look at just how. Let me fold those wings out just so you can see fully just how beautiful this is. I mean, look at them. Just look at the paint applications on those things. They are stunning. Absolutely stunning. I've never seen paint apps on a transformer like this. Never. I don't think there is anything. I don't think there is one that has paint applications quite like this. Amazing piece of work. And yes, Ray definitely made me do it. Number 2 is one that you've seen on my channel a lot. A lot. He is one of my favourite Transformers, and the funny thing about him is I really underestimated him. Before I got to handle him, again I handled Ray's copy of this figure first, before I went out and bought one of my own. Before I handled him, I think I may have underestimated him just from seeing pictures and reviews online. This Transformer is incredible. It's incredible on a technical level. It's incredible on an aesthetic level. It's just a beautiful thing to hold, and I doubt we will ever see its like again. And in terms of its quality, the obvious enthusiasm that was put into its design, and that's very sad to think. But it also means that this thing, it stands on a pinnacle that will never be toppled from. It's Magmatron. It's Magmatron. Ray made me do it. Definitely, Ray made me do it. And my God, I mean, I'm very happy that he did, because this thing, for me, this is it. This represents everything I truly love about Transformers. It's the aesthetic, the strangeness of it, the absurdity, the innate absurdity of it, the fun factor, the beauty, I just love it. This is, for me, where it begins and ends. Magmatron is, near as damn it, my favourite Transformer. He is sort of gun to the head moment. What is your favourite Transformer? This guy. It's this guy. It's Magmatron. I adore this Transformer. And again, you can't really get a sense of it unless you've handled it. You need to get this thing in hand. You need to see all of the incredible details. You need to transform it once or twice and do the whole business of it connecting and disconnecting to appreciate just how wonderful this toy is. It is quite amazing. So yes, that is my answer to Ray made me do it. There are plenty of others. There are loads, actually, because Ray and I discuss bots quite a lot. Cryotech is another one. Beast Wars 2 Galvatron is another. Who else is there? There are loads. There are absolutely loads. Oh, well, actually, technically, these guys as well. These rather newer chaps to my Predacon collection. These Beast Hunters Predacons, Ripclaw, and this beautiful little number, Laserback 2, because I'd sort of had a brief hiatus from Transformers before I picked up these, and my God, they've completely rekindled it. These guys, the new Predacons, are amazing. Another Ray made me do it in Potentia is Predaking, the big Predaking. I've seen people complain about that. I don't know what you're on. I really don't. Yes, his transformation is simplistic, but it doesn't matter. It works. It works beautifully. It does. It's not unnecessarily complicated. It does what it needs to do, and it is beautiful in both modes. I don't understand why people don't like that toy. I really don't. I think it is an absolute stunner. When it's in hand, it's unbelievably good. So that is my response to Ray made me do it. If I did everything that Ray had convinced me to buy, we'd be here at least until the end of Auto Assembly, if not beyond. So let me put these bots away for now. Yes, my second response in this video is going to be it's going to be slightly more somber and slightly more involved, I suppose. I suppose. Sorry, my tenses are all fucked up at the moment because as I say, I've been at work all day. It's been actually a hard couple of days at work. Annoying. My clients are always wonderful. My clients are great. My clients are lovely. My problem always lies with people who I have to interact with when I'm out with my clients. People who don't quite get what you do when you're a carer for people with mental disabilities, or don't understand that you need all of your attention there, focused, and you don't want to buy magazines, or you don't want to sponsor anything, and you certainly don't want to be talked at about claims of divinity, which are highly suspicious, if not entirely spurious to begin with. Anyway, that tangent done with. This is going to now be a response to David, Mr. Wallace, Carlisle Prime, who is looking fabulous, I must say, at the moment. He's looking absolutely superb. Dave asked quite an interesting question recently. It's one of those questions that, on the face of it, seems to be quite simple. It seems to be a yes or a no answer, but it's not. It's really, really not. It's a very, very complex question that has many subtle dimensions and nuances when you start to break it down, like almost everything. People who think that the world is simple, who think that you can synthesize reality and the experience of it in any way, in any subject or area, who think you could synthesize it down to something glib and simple, don't know what they're talking about. I think that they are very simplistic human beings, and that is why they tend to regard things as simple. Either that, or they're very afraid. They're very afraid of the innate complexities of being. That's what it seems to me. Anyway, this question that Dave posed is, it goes something along the lines of, can bots improve a bad day? So if you've had, I don't know, a negative day at work or something, can just playing with bots or buying a bot or just experience of bots help alleviate your mood, help elevate your mood? And as I say, this question is actually much more complicated than it initially seems, which is something that Ray identified quite well in his video. Because although it uses Transformers as an example, it doesn't necessarily exclusively refer to them. It can refer to anything. It can refer to anything that sparks enthusiasm or inspiration. Anything that distracts or deviates from whatever it is you're experiencing, from your circumstances. So it can refer to any hobby. It can refer to other action figures or toys if you're into that sort of thing. It can refer to literature. It can refer to cooking, or anything that provides a kind of distraction from your state of mind. And I would say I can only anyone who answers this can only answer it on a subjective level, by the way. There is no objective answer to this, because for some people the answer will be yes, and some the answer will be no. I would say that in and of themselves, the experience of playing with Transformers doesn't necessarily help you get over a bad mood, or doesn't help to alleviate a bad day. It obviously depends on how bad the day was and how engaged you are with whatever it is you're playing with, or whatever it is you're doing. But what I would say is that things like Transformers, for me, Transformers and toys in general are foci for imagination. That's their principal appeal. I know that for some people, like Ray, for example, Ray is interested in the plastic and that's it. He likes the mechanical and aesthetic elements of Transformers, which I do too, but they aren't the principal thing. For me, it's the abstraction that surrounds the physical item. The physical items, much as I enjoy them, are somewhat incidental in many respects. They don't have to exist. I can just as easily close my eyes and have the characters, the figures there, in an abstract or virtual sense, and manipulate them in a very real sense. I can manipulate them in ways that I can't manipulate a physical item, since it is constrained by physical law. It's a physical object, whereas the thing in here does not. It is an abstract. It's an idea of the item. And therefore can be manipulated in any number of ways, but it also can be used as a means of working through particular emotions in an abstract way. Because Transformers are imaginative items, they have character applied to them or derived from them. They have back mythology applied to or derived from them. They can be used in the same manner as, in many respects, as fiction or literature. Or art, for that matter. They can be used to explore states of mind and states of being on an abstract or virtual level, where there are no particular obvious consequences. They can allow you to explore ideas and feelings and so on and so forth, which is what the fiction does. It's what all fiction does. And in that regard, they can be used therapeutically. They can be used therapeutically on a mechanical level, or on an aesthetic level, or on a mythological level, if that's what you prefer. It all depends upon your particular inclinations. And for me, that does work. I can sit and sort of lose myself. I can sort of hold the Transformer and manipulate it and play with it and imagine what it is. I can imagine it in particular states. I can imagine the character doing particular things, interacting with other characters, and therefore explore experiences that I can't necessarily in the waking world or in the real world, owing to physical limitation and other things, and owing to the consequence that might result. They also may provide, you can very easily provide an abstract arena, a structure, a sort of mythological structure in which ideas can be explored. Any ideas and any experience. So they can directly refer to whatever has caused your state of mind. They can lead you to consider in an abstract way why and how you are experiencing the state of mind and what it means, what implications it has for you. They allow you to work through it in the same way that children do. When I was a child, my favourite time was when I was alone. I did play with other children, but not often. I was much happier on my own with action figures, although I didn't necessarily need them. I could create sort of abstract worlds and imagine things very easily, very vividly, sometimes too vividly, and I still do very much. I mean, I am a writer and an imaginer by nature. When someone asks me what I am, I don't say first thing, I'm a PA, I work in care. I say that usually secondly or in tertiary terms. I'm a writer and an imaginer first, because that's what I always do. Every waking second, that is what my imagination is doing. It is throwing up weirdness and strangeness, and it's spinning stories and sort of abstract situations out of things. It's not unusual to see me wandering around talking to myself. It really isn't. Pacing back and forth, talking to myself as I work something out, as I have virtual conversations with people, as I work out narrative threads and how they're going to develop, and so on and so forth. I don't always write all of them down because I wouldn't get anything else done. I wouldn't actually be able to live if I did that. But the more developed ones, the more vivid ones, I do. And this is what children do, it seems to me, when they are learning, when they play on their own, when they engage in imaginative or sort of theatrical play, projective play, I suppose you could call it, on their own with action figures, when they are creating situations and dynamics between characters and imagining what those characters will do with reference to that situation. They are developing a sense of abstract self. They are developing an imagination, which is the seat, it is the foundation of empathy, of how we interact physically, both with the waking world and with other human beings, both as children and as adults. And it's to our peril, as a species and as individuals, as cultures, that we neglect that faculty. It is to our peril, and it is very sad that it is something that is not only neglected, but it is actively discouraged. As you get older, you are embarrassed out of using your imagination. You are educated out of using it, and you are embarrassed out of using it. That's for children. You don't do that. It's childish. And it's ironic. It's ironic because we all do it in the privacy of our own bedrooms and homes, and in the ultimate privacy of our own minds. We all do it. We all imagine ourselves in different situations. The only difference is that we tend to contain it, whereas those of us who have enthusiasms like Transformers or whatever, something that's imaginative, do not. So, to sum up, I would say not only can playing with Transformers, not only can Transformers in and of themselves alleviate a mood, they can change your state of mind. They can actually, it depends on how you engage with them, it depends on how you use them imaginatively. That's all. They can, just like any medium, any subject, they can be used to elevate and transcend your state of mind. That's just the way of it. They're ideas innate to Transformers. We know that from watching fiction. If you take as an example Beast Machines. Beast Machines is a really good example of how the subject matter of Transformers can be used to explore ideas. In Beast Machines, we have a situation where the back mythology and the subject of Transformers is used as a medium for exploring quite profound philosophical notions. Not only is there an environmental message going on within Beast Machines, where you have a conflict between the technological and the organic, you also have an ideological conflict between the collective and the singular, between the tyrannical and the diplomatic. And that is very interesting as well, because the show goes out of its way to give both sides a perspective. It's all about balance. The whole show is about compromise and balance, and it's very, very good in that regard. It's actually, for a show that's ostensibly aimed at children and adolescents, it's very profound. It's a wonderful show, and it demonstrates how the medium of Transformers can be used as any imagined thing can be. Any imagined thing, from the most trite and childish to the most elevated and ascended, can be used to explore ideas and to change the state of mind of whoever engages with it. So that is my answer to both Ray and to Carlisle. Dave, I will see you all at Auto Assembly very, very soon.